Welcome back, my dear students. This is Mahbub Sultanaki, Senior Lecturer of Milestone College, Department of Biology. Today, I will discuss Chapter 13. The name of this chapter is Environment Around Life. My learning objectives are ecosystem and components of ecosystem, ecosystem of pond, food chain, food web, nutrition flow in ecosystem, and energy flow in ecosystem. So from my today's lecture, you will be able to discuss or explain these topics, okay? You know, our environment consists of organisms and non-living substances. There is an interrelationship in between these organisms and non-living substances. How? The living organisms are dependent on the non-living substances for different kinds of activities. The organisms use the non-living substances or different components of non-living substances. Then after utilization, they carry on their life cycle, and after that, when they become dead, they become decomposed and get mixed with the soil. After that, they turn into humus. From that humus, the green plants absorb nutrition from the environment. Green plants absorb carbon dioxide. By utilizing this nutrition, carbon dioxide, the green plants produce carbohydrate types of food, which is again absorbed by the organisms. Moreover, oxygen is produced as a byproduct. This oxygen is used by the green plants as well as the organisms. This interaction occurs in between the non-living substances and the organisms. It also occurs in a particular landscape. This total interaction in between these organisms and non-living substances is known as ecosystem. So the definition of ecosystem is any unit of landscape where there are non-living substances, as I have told you, food producing green plants, animals dependent on the plants, and microorganisms for the disintegration of the dead bodies of the organisms, and a proper interrelationship between these elements. In between which elements? In between the non-living substance and the plants and animals and microorganisms, okay, is known as or is called ecosystem. Now, the components of ecosystem. There are mainly three components of ecosystem: the non-living components, physical components, and the living components. Okay. Now, first of all, non-living components. What are the non-living components? The non-living components are those components which provides organism their habitats. They provide also oxygen and sometimes nutrition. Okay. From the non-living components, the organisms get these facilities. These non-living components is again divided into two parts. One is inorganic substance and another one is organic substances. Now, what are the inorganic substances? Inorganic substances are those substances which are which are not derived from the living organisms. That means these inorganic substances originated from the very beginning of the earth. It was originated before the origin of life. These are water, air, mineral substances such as calcium, potassium, iron, nitrogen, oxygen, and carbon dioxide, etc. These are the inorganic substances. Okay. Now, what is organic substances? As I have told you, inorganic substances is not derived from the living organism, but in case of organic substances, it originated from the living organism. That means it originated from the dead bodies of plants and animals. We can term these organic substances as humus. Humus is a kind of organic substances which is produced after the decomposition of the living organisms such as plants and animals, which includes urea, cells, organs of plants and animals. These are the organic substances of non-living components of our ecosystem. Okay. Now, the next part is physical components. What are the physical components? The components that are present in the environment, such as sunlight, temperature, presence of water vapor in air, air pressure, and wind. All these are the physical components of an ecosystem. Now, the living components, the third components of ecosystem. Now, the living components, it is of three types: producer, consumer, and decomposer. First of all, what is producer? All the green plants that can produce their own food by the process of photosynthesis is known as producer. We know that the green plants absorb carbon dioxide from the air, water from the soil, and in presence of sunlight and chlorophyll, they can produce their own food. They are also known as autotrophs. Hence, they can produce their own food. So, all the green plants or the producer are known as autotrophs. Now, consumer. Consumer are those organisms which are dependent on other organisms for their food. Consumer is of four types. First of all, consumers of first level, which are generally known as herbivores. Consumer of second level, they are known as carnivores. Consumer of third level, and consumer of top levels. Okay. Now, top consumer. First of all, consumers of first level or herbivores, the organism which directly depend on producer or green plants for their food, they are known as consumer of first level. Hence, they directly eat or survive on producer. That is why, or green plants, that is why they are known as herbivores. For example, chickens, cows, goats, etc. Okay. Grasshopper. Grasshopper also includes in consumers of first level. Second, consumers of second level. They are generally known as carnivore. Why they are known as carnivore? Because these consumers are dependent on the first level of consumer for their food. That means they consume the first level of consumers. That is why they are known as carnivore, because they depend on flesh of other organisms. For example, toad, then tiger, then fox. These are the consumers of second level. Consumers of third level. Now, the consumers of third level, who are the consumers of third level? The consumers which consumes the organisms which belong to second level of consumer. So, the organisms which consume the consumers of second level are known as consumers of third level. These are the consumer of third level. The examples are peacock, snake, and tiger. These are the consumers of third level. Okay. Now, what about the top consumer? These the consumers of third level is also known as the consumer of top level. Why? Actually, they are known as the top level of consumer because they can consume the consumers of third level and the consumers of second level. That's why they are known as consumers of top level. There are other organisms which like to eat or who like to eat the dead bodies rather other than the living bodies. These are known as scavenger. The vulture, then the crow, these are known as the scavengers. They eat the dead bodies from the environment and keep the environment clean. But there are in some cases one consumer acts like as the trophic level of different levels, or the consumers of different levels. Because in case of, if you think about which kind of these organisms, as I have told you, the tiger belongs to the third level of consumer. It also belongs to the second level of consumer. Another example is human. Human are it belongs to top level of consumer because human behaves as like herbivores when they eat vegetables, and they also act like carnivores when they eat flesh. Okay. Now the decomposers. The decomposers, there are some microorganisms such as bacteria and fungi. They get their food from the dead bodies of plants and animals. they get mixed with the, as a consequence, they get mixed with the soil and water and being decomposed. This decomposer transforms the dead bodies of plants and animals into humus, which are again consumed by the plants or used by the plants as their nutrition. Hence, they transform the dead bodies of the living organisms into humus. That is why they are also, the decomposers are also known as the transformer. Okay, so these all are the components of an ecosystem. Now, the ecosystem of a pond. Actually, this is a typical example of an ecosystem. In case of ecosystem of a pond, it has also the non-living and living components, the physical components also. Okay. Now, first of all, this is the diagram of a pond. In this diagram, you can see that there is a sun, which is the source of energy. These are the macrophytes. Macrophytes are the larger plants, and this is the phytoplanktons. The floating small plants are known as phytoplanktons, and these are the zooplanktons. That means the smaller or microscopic free floating organisms, animals are known as zooplankton. Okay, these are the microscopic organisms, the phytoplankton and both the zooplankton. Okay, these macrophytes and the phytoplanktons are known as the producer of a pond, and this is the second level of consumer, the smaller fish, and the big fish which belongs to the consumer of third level. Here at the bottom of the pond there are some microscopic organisms. These are the decomposer. Okay, these are the fungi and the bacteria. This belongs to the decomposer. This helps to decompose the dead bodies of these living organisms. Okay, now the description of the ecosystem. Ecosystem of a pond. In case of pond, the non-living components which consist of the organic and inorganic substances. So what are the inorganic substances in this pond? In this pond, the inorganic or organic substances, I have told you that the humus, the dead bodies, when decomposed, they turns into humus. These are known as organic substances. The inorganic substances are water, sunlight, which belongs to actually physical components, and carbon dioxide, oxygen, calcium, phosphorus. These are the inorganic substances which are found in this pond. Okay, so these are the non-living components. Now the living components. The living components are of three types: producer, consumer, decomposer. Producer, as I have told you, all the green plants that are found, or the microscopic plants that are found in the pond are known as producer, because they can produce their own food. They are autotrophs. Now, consumer. What are the consumers of pond? The consumers of pond which are dependent on other organisms for their food are known as consumer. It is also, there are three types of consumer. Consumer of first primary level or first level, consumer of secondary level, consumer of tertiary level. Now, the consumer of primary level or the consumer of first level. The organisms of pond which are dependent directly on phytoplanktons or plants for their foods are known as the consumer of primary level, such as mosquito, the larvae of mosquito, then the zooplankton, the rui, cutla. These fish also, it belongs to the consumer of primary level because they directly consume the producer. Now, what are the consumer of secondary level? The consumers which consume the primary level of consumers as their food are known as the secondary level of consumers. For example, small fish, aquatic insects, toad, etc. This is the second level of consumer. Okay. Then consumer of tertiary level. Which are the consumer of tertiary level? The consumers that consumes the organisms of secondary level of consumers are known as consumers of tertiary level. These are generally the big fish of the pond. The examples are shoal, vedki, ballfish. Okay, these are the consumers of tertiary level. The next point is, what are the decomposer? So the three components: producer, consumer, and finally the decomposers. the bacteria and fungi that are found in the floating condition on water or at the bottom of the pond or in a river, in a pond is known as the decomposer of the ecosystem of pond. Okay, these fungus and bacteria, all these helps to decompose the dead bodies of these organisms. They transform these dead bodies into humus, which is required for the plants or aquatic plants for their growth and development. So these all are the ecosystem of a pond. Okay. Now, food chain. What is food chain? When the food energy, we get energy from the food. So when the food energy is flown from the producer, that means from the green plants, through different trophic levels, that means primary level of consumer, secondary level of consumer, tertiary level of consumer, through these trophic levels, then this flow is called the food chain. For example, the grass, this is the producer. The grass is eaten by the grasshopper. These are the primary level of consumer. This toad eat this grasshopper. Then toad is the secondary level of consumer. A snake eat the toad or consume toad as their food. This snake is third level of consumer. When we snake eat the snake, it belongs to top level of consumer. Okay, so this is an example of a food chain. So what is the definition of food chain? Again, when the food energy is flown from the producer through different trophic levels, then that flow is known as food chain. Types of food chain. There are mainly three types of food chain. First of all, predator food chain. So what is predator food chain? The food chain where organisms of primary level are of the smallest size. That means the grasshopper is smaller than the toad. Okay, so the organisms of primary level is the smallest in size, and consecutively the consumers of the higher level prey the organism of the lower levels. This is the lower level of organism which is consequently consumed by the larger one. Okay, and eat them is called the predator food chain. Okay, so predator food chain, the food chain where the organisms of primary level will be smallest in size and consecutively the consumers will be larger in size, and finally the top level of consumer will consume the lower level of consumers and eat all them. Then that is called the predator food chain. The second type of food chain is parasitic food chain. What is parasitic food chain? The food chain where the parasitic plants and animals, in most of the cases, they derive the nutrition from the host body, which is much larger in size than that of the parasite, is known as parasitic food chain. The example of parasitic food chain is man, mosquito, and dengue virus. Okay. Then the third type of food chain is saprophytic food chain. The saprophytic food chain is the food chain if a food chain is stretched from the dead organism to the different trophic levels, then it is called the saprophytic food chain. The example of saprophytic food chain is dead body, fungi, earthworm. I should mention here that there is a parasitic food chain and the saprophytic food chain, both are incomplete food chain. Why they are known as incomplete food chain? Because in case of the both food chain, you can see that there is no producer. Okay, it starts from the host and it starts from the dead body. There is no producer, that means the green plants. The food chain in which the producer remain absent is known as incomplete food chain. So here from this topic, a comprehensive question may be arisen, that is why parasitic or saprophytic food chain is known as incomplete food chain. In that case, you will first write what is incomplete food chain, the definition, then you will give the example. You can give any one of these two examples, that hence the producer remain absent in these two food chains. That is why these are known as incomplete food chain. Okay. Now, food web. What is food web? Some food chains collectively may form a wave-like structure which is known as food web. For example, it is a diagram of a food web. How? Here, different types of food chain are present. Now, let us see what are the food chains we get from this food web. First of all, algae. Here, this is the algae. Algae is consumed by the small fish. This is the small fish. So, small fish consume algae. This small fish is again consumed by the hawk. This is a food chain. Now, another food chain is algae. When algae is consumed by the zooplankton, and this zooplankton is again consumed by the big fish, and big fish is consumed by the hawk, that is another food chain. Then again, algae, when algae is consumed by small fish, and small fish is consumed by the big fish, and big fish is consumed by the hawk, that is another food chain. Next one, algae is consumed by the zooplankton. Zooplankton is consumed by the small fish, and small fish is consumed by the hawk. That is the fourth number of food chain. And the final food chain is algae. This algae is consumed by the zooplankton. Then zooplankton is consumed by the small fish. Small fish is consumed by the big fish, and finally this big fish is consumed by the hawk. Here, 5 food chains are present. When these collectively form a net or wave-like structure, that is known as actually the food web. In case of food web, there is an important matter that you should know, that is here 3 trophic levels are present: algae, a small fish, hawk. Here 4 trophic levels are present: algae, zooplankton, big fish, hawk. And in these 3 food chain, there are the number of trophic level are 4. But in case of number 5, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. 5 number of trophic levels are present. Now, what are the differences in between these food chains? The differences in between these food chains are, as the food chain becomes longer, the loss of energy will be higher. How? In case of every trophic level, for example, when algae, in case of algae, it stores energy from the sun. Okay, it is stored energy. 10% of this stored energy is used by this, but rest of the 90% of energy is released as heat or in other form of energy. So when the small fish eat this algae, it will get the energy from obtained from the algae, that is from 10%. Okay, so if the algae consume 100% energy, that will be reduced to 10%, and this 10% will be consumed by this, and of this 10%, 90% will be lost, and among this 10%, the rest of the 90%, 10% will be absorbed by the hawk. Okay, so it will be 1%. Okay, so as the food chain is longer, the loss of energy will be higher. At the end of this food chain, there may not remain any kind of energy. Okay, so if you have to explain in which food chain the loss of energy is higher, how you will explain? You will write down the food chains just like this from the food web. You will sort out the food chains. Okay, how many food chains are present in the food web? Then you have to explain in the food chain in which the number of trophic level is higher. Then you will say that 10% of energy is consumed or stored in the body of the organisms, and the rest of the 90% is wasted as heat or in other form. Thus, the loss of energy will be higher as the food chain become longer. Now, the last topic, that is the nutrition flow in ecosystem and the energy flow in ecosystem. First of all, what is nutrition flow in ecosystem, or how the nutrition flows in an ecosystem? Okay, the green plants, with the help of inorganic substances that is absorbed from the soil and in presence of sunlight, the green plants produce their own food. That food is used, a small portion of that food is used by the green plants, and rest of the food is stored in the green plants. That green plants, or that when the green plants is, or the producer is consumed by the herbivores, and herbivores are consumed by the carnivores, then the nutrition is flown from the producer to herbivores, then from the herbivores to the carnivores. Okay, after the decomposition of these herbivores and carnivores, or the plants are the producer, which are decomposed by the bacteria or fungi, that means the decomposer, they again turns into inorganic substances, and that means they are inorganic substances as like humus. Then the green plant again consume these or use these humus or inorganic substances for producing their food. Thus, the nutrition is flown from the producer to the herbivores to the carnivores. Then after decomposition, all these substances is again transformed into humus or other organic and inorganic substances that are consumed by the plants. Okay, and they produce their food. This is the flow of nutrition in an ecosystem. This is the unique characteristics of an ecosystem. Okay, this is the flow of ecosystem. This producer, herbivores and carnivores. When all these are decomposed, they turns into the nutrients or nutrition for the plants. These nutrient materials, when transformed into nutrients, then again it is used by the producer. Okay, this is the nutrition flow of an ecosystem. Now the energy flow in an ecosystem. We know that the main source of energy is sun. Okay, sun is the main source of energy. The sun, the sunlight and the heat that is reaches on the planet Earth, among the total amount, 2% of energy is consumed or used by the green plants for producing food by the process of photosynthesis. Then from the green plants, that means the producer, this energy is transferred to the herbivores when the herbivores consume the green plants. Then from the herbivores, when the carnivores consume the herbivore animals, they get the energy from the herbivores. Okay, when the producer, herbivores and carnivores are decomposed by the decomposer, then the total amount or the receiving procurement of energy is stopped but when the organism becomes dead. Okay, so what about the energy? When they become decomposed with the help of decomposer, the energy that is stored in the body of the plants or animals is again come back to the or return to the environment. Okay, so what about the energy flow in ecosystem? In case of energy flow, the total amount of energy that is absorbed from the sun with the help of plants is not exactly, or the total amount is transferred to the herbivores. Okay, here when the herbivores or the first level of consumer consume the producer or plants, here in between these two steps, part of energy is lost. Okay, similarly when the carnivores consume the herbivores, in that case also some amount of energy is lost. Thus, as the food chain become longer or the number of trophic level is increased, the loss of energy will be higher. And if the number of trophic level in any food chain will be lower, the waste of energy will be less decreased accordingly. Okay, so the energy flow in ecosystem, it means that the flow of energy that is passes from through the food from one trophic level to the last trophic level or top level. So these all for nutrition of flow of ecosystem and energy flow, nutrition flow in ecosystem and energy flow in ecosystem. So from my today's lecture, I hope you will be able to explain the ecosystem, components of ecosystem, the ecosystem of a pond, food chain, types of food chain, food web, and why how can you determine the loss of energy will be higher or lower according to the food chain. And finally, we will be able to explain the nutrition flow in ecosystem and the energy flow in ecosystem. So this all for my today's lecture. I will be back in my next class with a new lesson. Till then, take care.